years recently. Anyone here know what a Liberty ship is? No. Okay, in World War II, the U.S. actually, one of the ways they won the war was because they won the War of the Atlantic, just by shipping raw goods to fight the war in Germany.
Oh, yeah.
So they made these things called Liberty ships. They were just thrown together slabs of crap, that big freighters that they sent across, and some would break in the middle of the ocean, and they were really made of shit. Anyway, my grandfather spent most of World War II on convoy duty as a deck gunner on the back of Liberty ships, just going back and forth on the Atlantic. And in 2010, they had a Liberty ship, the last one surviving, came into the port of Providence. And he wanted me to go with him. The Providence Journal came out, they interviewed him, he went up, they toured the ship, and two things really stood out for me that day. At the end of the day, he was sitting in the deck gunner's chair in the back there with his hand on the lever there for the trigger. And he said, well, I was just looking over the water, and he said, this really brings back memories. And the reporter said, any you care to share? And my grandfather just looked at him quick and just said, no. And that struck me. The second thing that struck me is that he really wanted me to be part of this to show me what he had done. So after I spent the day with him, I came back home and I wrote this thing. So here's a time for everything. He was old and I was young. He told me where I came from. There's a time for everything. As I grew, I tried to find just who I am deep inside. There's a time for everything. A time to play, a time to cry, a time to dream, a time to find. There's a time for everything. A time to grow, a time to yearn, a time to see, a time to learn. There's a time for everything. As I grew through the years, there were challenges, I faced fears. There's a time for everything. It's a journey we all take, it's choices we all make. There's a time for everything. A time to be on your own, a time to stand up alone. There's a time for everything. A time to dream, a time to try, a time to fail, a time to survive. There's a time for everything. I met you on the first day to love like ours, it was fate. There's a time for everything. We were two, now we're one. Our life together finally begun. There's a time for everything. A time to meet, a time to share, a time to find out that you care. There's a time for everything. A time to live, a time to love.